VC, I'm back for another vinyl update, and I will be showing a few CDs and a few cassettes. I know that's not a usual thing for me, but I got some kind of interesting ones to show, so hope you enjoy. This might be my last video for a few weeks. Not too sure, but so let's get started with the CDs here. I got a few cassettes too, but this is Hank Williams Jr. His 1992 album Maverick, and it was a pretty good listen. I'd love to get it on vinyl, but it's about $30 on vinyl, but still a really nice album to find. A really nice CD for $1. Loretta Lynn's Greatest Hits, a nice MCA CD. Have the vinyl of that. And then we have a Johnny Cash CD I didn't have. This is his 1997 Best Of on Mercury, where he redid some of his famous songs, Big River, all the songs that you hear a lot. And this one was pretty cool, from 1996. Found this at Goodwill. This is a Beastie Boys, their instrumental album from 1996. So that was really cool to find. Don't always find their stuff out too often. This is a Charlie Pride album. Not too sure when it came out, but it's a really good listen. It's a later one by him, and it was still sealed, so that was cool to find. And of course, finally got a copy of this album, Miles Davis Kinda Blue. I don't know. There it is. And then we, of course, can't go wrong with a Conway Twitty CD for $1. This is a 1989 CD. It's on a weird label that I've never seen before, so this was really interesting to find. There's a lot of the Warner Brothers hits. So I'll just show a few cassettes. I have one right here. This is a Bo Diddley 20th Century Masters. These are awesome. They sound good. What other cassettes would you like to see? Of course, Phil Collins, Face Value, one of my favorites. Some pretty good cassettes. These were less than 50 cents or 50 cents. So this is the Information Society. I'm not going to show all the cassettes here because you guys, I don't know. But I'll show a few of the ones that I was happiest to find. So yeah, those were some cassettes. Maybe a couple more. Just don't want to make this video too long. Just some interesting thrift finds. Oh, one of my favorite albums of all time, Genesis, Invisible Touch. That's a great album. Alright, let's get into the vinyl. We got a good amount here. A lot of these were from the thrift store, but I did go to the record store and picked up two things. There's some Elvis in here, which was some crazy Elvis that I found, in shrink wrap. But let's just get started with some dollar finds. Just want to push those cassettes over. Give me a sec. So we have UK pressing of Jim Reeves, Have I Told You Lately? Great album on RCA Camden. And then we have a great album that I've been enjoying very much. This originally came out in 1966 on Capitol. This is Edith Piaf, and a great French singer. And being that I was in French for all my schooling, this was a great album to find. Some really enjoyable tracks on there. If you've never heard her, go look her up. And then we got a Ricky Skaggs album that I didn't have. Look at that mustache. Don't Cheat in Our Hometown on Epic. And then we have a 1961 Connie Francis More Greatest Hits on the yellow MGM. Cover's got some wear, but like when it's $1, it's not a big deal to me, really. And then another UK pressing. I just enjoy this music. I mean, it's thrift finds, but Mario Lanza selections from the Student Prince. My friend Jordan, the Elvis Presley collector, really likes this guy, and I do too. So That was a cool find, being UK pressing. And then I got some flea market finds here too. George Jones that I was missing from 1977. Kind of a weird cover, and I don't know why they did this to his face on the cover, but I Want to Sing from 1977 on the Orange Epic. This was a great find. I did pay a little bit more for this at the record store. Not too much, not anything crazy, but this is the 1960 Canadian Living Stereo pressing, and this is pretty sought after. I'm not too sure why, but it's in great condition. But yeah, the Elvis finds I didn't sort together. I should have sorted them together, but they're kind of just everything. Now at the flea market I found an album here that Fat City Vinyl Doug, how's it going, showed. This is Joe and Eddie's album on GNP Crescendo. So he showed that recently, and it's pretty good. Next up, this was really cool to find at the flea market for like $4. So you know that sleeve. This is Factory Records. This is a New Order 12-inch single pressed in Italy. And it's the song Blue Monday backed with The Beach in just fantastic condition. Sounds really great. I have the US pressing of this 12-inch single, but that was really cool to find an Italian pressing of that from '83, I think. And just got to get it back in that sleeve there. And I love these 12-inch singles on Factory. They sure do sound really good. Just having issues here, guys. All right. So that was New Order's Blue Monday Italian 12-inch single for a couple bucks. Another one that Fat City Vinyl Doug, if you haven't checked out his channel, you should go do that. This is Comox and Friends, Canadian kind of southern rock album that he showed. So that's the only reason that I picked it up, was because he showed it. So that's always great. And then Johnny Cash album I didn't have. For me, now it kind of is getting hard to find Johnny Cash albums that I don't have, and the ones that I don't have are kind of hard to find, like the 90s ones and stuff. But this is a really nice listen. Double album, has the insert in it, and it's a great gospel album on Columbia. Next up, I have another Johnny Cash. Look at them beans, 1975. These were all very cheap, between $2 and $5. This is Don Everly's solo album from 1978. I haven't listened to that one yet, but I think it's pretty good. It's supposed to be good. And then we have a couple Elvis finds. This is Roustabout. Of course, you know that album. 1964 originally came out. This is the 1969 Canadian Rigid Orange label, and that was only $2. It's got some wear, but the Rigid Orange labels I like to pick up. They sound really nice. And then, yes, I've found two Elvis albums in shrink these past couple of weeks. This is Roustabout, original Canadian mono in the shrink wrap, and it's just so hard to find the Elvis albums in the original shrink wrap these days. They always seem to want to tear, I find. And then we have a couple garage sale finds from a couple weeks ago. This is Bill Anderson Sings from 1963, and I like Bill Anderson a lot. He's got a really good voice, and I think he's pretty underrated in the country music seed of things. And this is kind of a weird one. Newfoundland is Canadian, and I just pick up these kind of things when I see them for 50 cents from Newfoundland to Mexico. From Newfoundland to Memphis on the Arc label. Just kind of some interesting country songs done by some guy from Canada. And then this was an amazing record store find. I paid about $13 for this. 1957, Ray Price's first album on the Canadian Columbia 6i. So that was an amazing find for my country collection. This is a great album if you ever see it. He does some really amazing songs like Faded Love on there. And then an album that I already had. This is the first pressing on the 6i. This is Meet Claude King. Another good country album for 50 cents. And what is this? Oh yes, and a group that I didn't have too much of, and I'd like to pick up a few more of their albums. Just a great group. And this one is on that Canadian, what's it called, Birchmont label, Statler Brothers. So they're pretty good. Half of this album's pretty funny. They tried to make kind of a comedy album, and the other half of it is just them doing great songs like Blue Moon and stuff like that. Their versions. That was really cheap. And this is a UK pressing from. These are a couple more Goodwill finds. UK pressing of Glenn Campbell, By the Time I Get to Phoenix. It's a later UK pressing, but still was cool to find for a couple dollars. And I wasn't going to pass up a mono copy of the International Jim Reeves for 50 cents at a garage sale. Just a great album if you've never checked that out. And for 50 cents at a garage sale, I already had this, but this is a George Jones Greatest Hits on Mercury. Only a couple more here, guys, and then I'll be out of your hair. And Hank Lachlan on Metro. That was a pretty interesting find. I like Hank Lachlan. Always good to just turn those, put them on a turntable. Porter Wagoner from 1966, I think, on this one, and I can't quite remember, but it's good to just country listen. This is the Queen of Country Music, Tammy Wynette, for 50 cents, a double record set. Cover has some minor wear, but nothing too bad. And another Elvis album that I found in shrink wrap. This is the living stereo pressing of his Hand in Mine. Just in immaculate condition. And is that it? I think I have one more to show here, guys. And what is it? This is a compilation of just some good artist, Hank Snow, Porter Wagoner, RCA Victor. And I think that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope that video was not too long. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to make another video before I leave for my vacation to British Columbia, Canada. And yeah, so if I don't, I hope you guys have a good next 3 weeks or whatever. And I'm enjoying all your videos, and I still will be watching, so everybody keep finding those great records and take good care.